I've just taken some of the main areas of SEN that, you know, I get asked about a lot, and I have just brainstormed some things that I think are common support strategies that are fairly easy for schools to sort of take on board, so that, you know, if you've got something in your mind, you could be thinking, well, is that going to help my child? So in terms of autism, I mean, children with autism can become distressed and anxious because if you've got difficulties with sort of social interactions and communication skills, which is what a lot of people with autism have differences in, you know, you can find the classroom to be a confusing place. So that's why structure and routine is really important. It's reassuring and it makes people less anxious. And because people with autism can sometimes find verbal overload is where someone talks too much and you lose the ability to be able to listen and hold it all in your head. It's like when you've been in a meeting all day and you think, good grief, just stop talking. It's like that, but it comes a lot earlier. So that's why visual supports can be helpful, because people might talk too much and it's hard to take on board verbal information. So, you know, if you're giving a child with autism a task to do, they might be someone who would just respond really well from having some visual prompts next to them. Verbal overload means don't talk too much or too fast. Preparation for change and transitions, because moving between activities, because that's when all the sort of the social hubbub happens and it can be unclear exactly what's expected. So they can often be flash points or stress points. So, you know, make sure that the child knows what is going to happen. After break, this is what we will be doing, and I want you to go and wait by that door, and then Mrs. So-and-so will come and meet you. So just so they know really clearly what's happening. Plan for downtime or alone time. So, you know, at break time, or, you know, even halfway through a lesson, maybe that child just needs 5 minutes to just gaze into space or think about their favorite interest or something as a little brain break. Children don't have to be social at break times. If break time for that child is walking around the edge of the playground, just being in their own space, that's fine. We don't have to force socialization on children as long as they're happy walking around the playground being alone. You know, they might very much want to be with people, in which case we plan for something different. Yeah, so that's the bit about providing structure and support during unstructured times, because if a child did want to have more interaction during playtime but wasn't sure how to manage that, that might be a good time to target support. So are there options at playtime? If you're not sure what to do, you can go to the, I don't know, the PE cupboard, and there'll be 2 things that you can have a choice of doing, or an adult can suggest a game. You might be able to have a game maker who plays with maybe 3 or 4 children at break time for those children who don't know what they're doing. Open-ended tasks are harder because they're more ambiguous. So when teachers are setting tasks, they should make sure instructions are really explicit. Lots of children with autism have sensory differences. So, you know, allowing them to maybe have earplugs if noise is too much, or sit them away from the noisy part of the classroom or the flickering lights. Allow them to not wear regulation school shoes or whatever. If those school shoes hurt their feet, a little bit of an adaptation in the uniform policy. That's not a big adjustment, I think. I think some uniform policies are a bit strict sometimes. And having a passport or something, so that if they're taught by a supply teacher, the supply teacher knows this is what this child needs. So those are some of the common ones for autism.